think the community spirit is very strong here. I think people are very willing to help one another.
I think family ties kids to this area.
And I think that's what drew me back, because the year I lived away, that was the hardest part, was I didn't have any of my family close. So I think that that's a big part of our students too, in leaving to go to college. A lot of them do come back to the community, and I think family's the biggest thing that draws them back.
I love the people here, but it's difficult to teach kids about the world when they've never seen anything other than Scots-Irish white kids. You know what I mean? It's really kind of hard to get them to understand that there's a much bigger world out there.
A lot of them don't have connections to the internet at home. This would probably be their only connection here. If they do have one, it's very slow.
This school that we're currently in, it's been recently redone, correct?
This is brand new. The school's 3 years old. We ask for excellence. It's not just a word we use. We're really moving in that direction. And it's easier to ask that of kids when the roof isn't leaking on their head.
There is a challenge within certain counties, such as our own here in Gillette County, of having the funding that is just natural or inherent in having higher real estate values and real estate taxes and so on. So it becomes a challenge for these kids, these students, to have the facilities that larger or wealthier school districts might have.
Some of these kids have ideal home lives, and some of these kids you don't want to ask.
You know, I've had kids, you know, come in so tired. I said, what's the deal? Why are you? I slept in my car last night.
But there is not a large percentage of college-educated parents. And so it's difficult sometimes to get parents to understand exactly what going to college is all about. They're surprised by everything from the price to the type of work you need to put in. I think for a lot of kids it's just not a reality. The parents can't say, hey, you know, when I was in college, they don't have that experience, and it's a very foreign kind of conversation. And teaching at the 11th grade level, if they're with me, they're on the college prep track. Otherwise they would have made the choice to go to the vocational school, Buckeye Hills, a while back.
They're kids that maybe don't have the most money or are not the smartest. They're coming here because they want to work and get a job primarily.
It can be difficult to find a job back in the community. So
Which causes them to move out of the area because there's not a lot of jobs around here, and which is kind of sad because they love it here. So sometimes they're willing to take less or to, you know, still stick around and maybe do part-time or something just because they don't want to leave home.
We can keep up with the best, but we need to first kind of see what those opportunities are. I would say that's a real challenge, is getting young men and women to see what they're capable of, even when they can't see it in themselves.
You know, we kind of coddle them, we kind of lead them along, you know, and they don't do that in college.
The workload, the intensity, and the scope of what they do in college or at the university level is very challenging compared to high school. I've had to tell several of my freshmen that you know, we are not here to do things for the students. That's not my role. My role is to teach them and empower them to do for themselves.
You know, anytime I'd come down on a kid, you know, you get out the quality of your work. What do you know? You're not from around here. It's like, okay, I get it. And people would say things like, hey, what are you doing for Thanksgiving? And if you said nothing, they'd say, gee, that stinks. It's kind of a closed community, and until you've earned a little bit of street cred down here, they don't really want to get too close to you because they're not really sure what you're here for.
It took me a long time because I wasn't from here. Of course, I'm still not from here, but I'm kind of accepted.
But we know there are many success stories too.
I ran into a student last summer who I had in the welding class, and I had him probably 8 years ago. And he told me that he was welding on a rig down in Texas. And I said, and that you're doing really well. And he said, yes. He said, I make close to $100,000 a year. I think that they can go out here and be successful without going to school. But I also think that the college part does a lot to help them in their overall knowledge.
This young man does not have the best of home lives. He was glowing in my class today because I told him I was very proud of his progress in my class. That's why I teach. That's what I want to be with these kids.